What's up guys, I'm M from SpecNreviewz, and today I have Link with me. We're going to show you guys how he made his turtle topper for his tortoise table. Link here is a yellow-footed tortoise, so he needs a lot of humidity and some heat. Because he's naturally from the rainforest, so he has to stay warm and have that nice refreshing spa action going on. So let's get started. Okay, first things first, you want to measure out your tortoise table and get the right measurements. Now remember, you always want to measure twice and cut once. As you can see here, I already have my measurements for my tortoise table, and I'm ready just to mark up the board. If you have a right angle triangle in this, it'll help you out a lot during this project. As you can see, I'm using it to make sure I get a straight line, and then I'm also going to use it to make an angle. Okay, with all the correct measurements, now it's time to cut. Now remember, you don't have to be a professional at this when you're cutting. Just make it as best as you can. Your tortoise is not going to notice if the cuts are off. Now that all your pieces are cut, you should pre-assemble your build so you make sure all the pieces fit nicely together. Okay, now that you know all your pieces are fitting together, now it's time for painting. Painting is important because it helps reduce the moisture that the wood absorbs, so it helps it last longer. The kind of paint that I use is the exterior paint that you can find at your home improvement store. It's a paint that you'd use on your patios outside and stuff. It helps with rain and you're protecting the wood against it. That being said, I let the paint dry for at least a week or longer to make sure all the fumes are gone from the paint. This product is not advertised as a pet safe paint, so just use at your own risk. Make sure to keep an eye on your animal and you should be okay. Okay, now I need to disassemble my old setup for my tortoise. This was originally where I hanged his lights from. Okay, now on to the new assembly. I'm gluing these cubes to the posts in his turtle table. These cubes will act as a leveler for his tortoise house. Okay, with the cubes drying, I start putting on the side and the back panel. I first line them up and then I screw them in. Okay, so in Link's hidey house, I am putting a Zoom Med thermal pad in there, and it's only going to turn on during the nighttime so he can stay warmer. I got a white basket from the 99-cent store, and I cut a hole so the cord can go through. I use a 1" by 1" mounting base that you use zip ties to put it together with to hold on to the white basket. It has an adhesive on the back to stick to whatever you want. In my case, the wood. Don't forget to put in your Zoom Med heat pad on the inside of your white basket. As you can see, the zip tie just goes to the bottom, goes through, and then you lock it into place. I didn't capture this part on camera, but I eventually added some zip ties to go across the Zoom Med heat pad to keep it from going up. With Link's new hidey house with the heater inside of it, now we're ready to put it together. I didn't add screws at this point. I later went back after I made sure everything fit correctly and put in the screws to his hidey house so it wouldn't fall apart on him. Now it's time to line up his other sidewall to his tortoise topper. Before screwing in the other side of the sidewall, I make sure that the top fits. With the top fitting, I go ahead and I screw in the sidewall. I add a screw both to the bottom and the top of the sidewall. With both side panels on, I later go back with brackets that I had laying around the house to make the build more stable, so when I go to pick up the top and move it, the side panels are not going to flare out on me. I also add another bracket and some screws to the sidewall that's sitting on Link's hidey house, so that when I take off the top, I know where it's supposed to go and it adds a little bit more stability, so it's also not flaring out on him. Now it's time to screw in the top. The top is not the most level it can be or the straightest, but it'll do. I first mark my holes on where I want them to be, and then I pre-drill, and then I screw in the hole. I went out to my local hardware store and I picked up these chest lashes. They're like $2. And they come in a pack of 2. I'm gonna put this on the tortoise topper so it prevents the topper from moving if it accidentally gets bumped. So what I do is I mark where the holes need to be, I pre-drill, and then I use the screws provided. Now there are 3 on top that need to go in, 2 on the side, and then there's also a screw hole underneath the latch itself. I placed a latch on the side and on the back of the tortoise topper. I was gonna put some in the inside of the tortoise topper, but after putting the ones on the outside in, I didn't feel that it was necessary to put them on the inside too. Now I can lock it in place when I don't want it to move, and then I can unlock it to take it off. This is how you take off the topper. It's super easy, real fast, good to go. So if I need to take Link to my mom's house when we're out of town, I can. He can have his whole tortoise table. It's just a matter of unlocking the 2 latches and making sure the screw's out on the other side and ready to go. It's time to set up the lights. Again, I'm using the 1x1 inch mounting bases that we used previously on Link's hidey house, and I'm guesstimating on where the light should hang. So I put one up and then I grab the light, I kind of get the area of where it should go, and I put the other one. Okay, once I get all the mounting bases in, I then go back and I screw in a screw to the middle of the mounting base so that it's not only held up by adhesive, so Mr. Link doesn't have to worry about a light falling on his head. I then get ready to zip tie. I get 2 zip ties, connect them both so it makes it longer so they can go around the light. I then place the zip ties in the mounting base and get ready to mount my light. I grab my light and I adjust it to make it straight. I then grab another 2 zip ties, zip them together, and I put them on the top for the heating lamp. I then grab a clamp and I stick the clamp on the zip ties to hold up the lamp. Off camera, I made a hole on the top of the Tortoise Topper so I can stick all the plugs through so they're not dangling through Link's house. I'm also adding a screen protector for Link's house, so it prevents like bugs from getting in, flies, and it just helps a lot with like gnats and stuff getting into his house so he doesn't get all that in the summertime. And I also add a plastic sheet over it for the wintertime so it stays a lot warmer in there so there's no air blowing in. Now you might be thinking, hey, a plastic sheet on your animal's not the best idea. But because this is not a perfect build, and that's what we were looking for, there's a lot of holes and a lot of airflow that can actually get through still. This is Link in his house for the first time since we put the Tortoise Topper on. Link's really enjoying the humidity that it keeps in and the warmth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you guys out. My name's Em from SpecNreviewz. Remember to be like Link and like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks guys. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.